In this video, we're going to take a look at the Messages app on the iPhone. We're going to start out by taking a look at a couple of features, or I should say a couple of settings in the Messages app, settings that I recommend people turn on or at least take a look at. And then from there, we're going to take a look at the interface and how we can do some basic text messaging, including how we can view our attachments, how we can send screen effects, or even text effects with iOS 18. Now, if you find this video helpful, stick around to the end. I'll tell you a little bit more about myself and how you can help support my efforts in creating these videos. All right, let's take a look at Messages on the iPhone. Let's go over to my iPhone. Now, the first thing I want to mention is this is my personal iPhone. There's a setting that I want to cover that is only available when you have an active cell account, such as with Verizon or AT&T. So let's first take a look at these settings. I'm going to open up the Settings app. I tap on it. And now from here, what we need to do is we need to swipe up to the bottom. And then what you're going to see is Apps. Now, I am using iOS 18. If you're using a prior version of iOS, you do not have apps. It's just going to be listed in this area here. But in iOS 18 and later, what they did is they separated a lot of the settings out into this little apps area. So now what I need to do is I need to tap on Apps, and then we need to go over to Messages. So I'm going to tap on M over here to quickly get to Messages, and you're going to see I have Messages here. Now there are a lot of settings in here. We're not going to go over all of the settings. I just want to cover a couple of them that I find very helpful. So let's tap on it, and we're looking at all of my settings. The first setting that I like to make sure that I have set right is the text message forwarding. Well, what is this? Well, when you receive a text message from someone that is not on an Apple device, that text message will go to your iPhone, no problem, but it will not go to any of your other devices. So what you need to do is you need to tap on this text message forwarding and make sure that you have your devices here, your personal devices set to on. This way, any text messages from a non-Apple device will also go to those other devices. So if you get a new iPad, or maybe you have a Mac or a new Mac, a lot of times what will happen is it'll turn off, and then you're not going to receive any text messages from people that don't have an Apple device. You'll still receive them from people that have an Apple device, but not from someone that does not. So I just like to make sure that all of my devices are listed in here, and I have them all on. So then when I do receive a text message, it goes to all of my devices. Now, you will only see this when you have an active cell account. This is why I have to use my personal iPhone on this. All right, let's go back. The other setting that I like to make sure that I have on is message filtering. Now, what does this do? Well, this enables a feature in the Messages app, and you're going to see this shortly, that allows you to view your unread messages. You can also separate your messages, your conversations from people that are in your contacts, so you can separate out the unknown contacts, and then you can also view deleted conversations. If this is turned off, you're not going to be able to see that. So I like to make sure that this is turned on. All right, now the last thing I want to cover here is there's going to be one other setting in here, and that is message history. How long do you want to keep your message history? I have mine set for 1 year. After 1 year, any history will be deleted. So this will help manage space. Sometimes messages can take up quite a bit of space, especially if you receive a lot of movies. I'll show you how you can save those movies to your Photos app later on. But what you can do here is you can set it to automatically delete messages after 1 year. You can also set it to delete them after 30 days, as well as keep them forever. So if you want to keep them forever, you can tap on that. All right, so those are the settings that I like to make sure that people have set. So now that we've covered the settings, let's take a look at the Messages app. Now for this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect my personal iPhone so I don't show any information, and I'm going to go to my demo iPhone because I no longer need to use my personal iPhone. So I'm going to switch phones here. And now I'm looking at my demo phone. All right, so let's go and take a look at the Messages app. So what I need to do is I need to tap on Messages here. It's in my dock. Tap on it, and now I'm looking at the Messages app. Now, the way that this works is basically we have 3 different panes as long as we have that filtering on. that I set up in the settings. So right now I'm looking at all of my conversations. These are conversations. So these are all the people that I'm having a conversation with. And a conversation consists of messages. The messages, when we tap on a conversation, so let's go ahead and tap on this conversation here. Now I'm looking at all of the different messages within that conversation. To go back to your conversations, you just tap on the arrow here, and you're back at all of your different conversations. Now, when we're looking at these conversations, you're going to see that some of them are in a circle here, while other ones are in a list, and you might have a long list here. What are these circles here? Well, basically what those are pinned conversation. This is where you can keep your important conversations. They will be pinned to the top. So how do we pin a conversation? Well, basically all we have to do is just long press it. So I'm going to long press on this one here, and when I do, we get a little pop-up menu, and then you're going to see pin. So now all I need to do is just tap on pin and watch what happens. It moves to the top here, and it will always be at the top. We can pin up to 9 conversations in iOS 18. To remove it from being pinned and move it back into the list, all we have to do is just long press on it again, and then you're going to see unpin. I unpin it, and it is no longer pinned. Let's take a look at these conversations here. What we can do is we can mark them as unread, we can hide alerts from them, and then we can also delete them. So how do we do that? Well, let's first take a look at how we can mark them as unread and read. So let's say that I have an important message in here, and what I want to do is I want to keep it as unread. So then it shows in my messages. I'll show you that shortly, on the icon actually. To mark it as unread, what we do is we just swipe over to the left, or I'm sorry, to my other left, to the right. So I swipe over, and you're going to see that we have that blue line there, and now it is marked as unread. So as far as the iPhone is concerned, I didn't read this yet. And when I do that, when I go back to my home screen, you're going to see that there is a little 1 there. So this tells me that it is unread. I will do this for messages that I need to get back to later. Otherwise, I may get lost in that list. So what I'll do is I'll just mark them as unread. I tap on it, and then if I want to mark it as read, I can also do that. I just swipe back over, and then you're going to see the blue here. I can tap on it, or what I can do is just keep swiping over, and now that blue pin is gone, and it is marked as read. We can also stop notifications. When we receive a message from someone, we will usually get a notification. Well, if you want to hide notifications from a specific person, or maybe you're not receiving notifications from a specific person, maybe those notifications are hidden. So how do we do that? Well, then what we need to do is we need to swipe to the left. And when I swipe to the left, I'm going to have a couple of options here. One of them here is this little alert symbol. If I tap on that, I will no longer receive any notifications when I get a message from this person. And you're also going to see that it has a little bell here to the right telling me that I will not receive notifications. So if you're not receiving notifications from someone, you may want to check to see if you accidentally hid them. I'm going to turn it back on, so I just swipe, I tap on the bell, and now I'm going to receive notifications. Now you also may have noticed that's how you can delete a conversation. When I swipe over to the right, we have this little trash here, and I'm able to delete it. We can recover a deleted conversation. I'll show you that in a little bit when we talk about filtering. It keeps it for about 30 days, and then after that, it will delete it. So that's how we can go and delete our conversations. All right, so now let's talk about filters. I mentioned this quite a few times already. And actually, it was one of the first things that I set up in the settings. I turned on filtering. Well, what does that do? Well, if we look here in the upper left-hand corner, you're going to see it says filters. If you do not have that setting on that I mentioned in the beginning, you will not see anything here. When you turn it on, you're going to get this little option here that says filters. And when I tap on it, what I'm able to do is filter my messages. So I can view all of my messages, just like normal. It's going to show me all of the messages, even if they're not a contact. And then we can also just show our known senders. So these are people that have sent me messages that are in my contacts. So it's going to hide all unknown messages. And then if we want to view our unknown senders, we can do that as well. It's going to hide everyone from my contacts. So if you're looking for a specific conversation or a specific text from someone that is not in your contacts, this is how you can go and filter them. And then we also have unread messages. Have you ever had that red dot when we go back over to my home screen and we have the red dot on the messages? You go into the Messages app and you can't find where that unread message is? Well, this is how you can find it. Basically, all you have to do is just go and tap on Unread Messages, and it's going to show you all of your unread messages. And then our last one here is we can view our recently deleted messages and recover them. So when we go and delete a conversation, it'll recover it. So that's how we can filter our messages. All right, now let's go back. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to tap on All Messages here. So we're looking at my messages. Now let's take a look at messages themselves. We know how conversations work. We know how to filter them. Let's go and take a look at messages themselves. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap on this message here. This is how we open up a conversation. And then we're going to see all of the individual messages within that conversation. I tap on it, and now I'm looking at all of the messages within that conversation. I can swipe to go through them. If I want to send a message, I just go down to the bottom here, tap in there, and start typing. The keyboard comes up, and I can go and send a message. So I'm just going to go with hello. Real basic message here. All right, to send it, we just tap on the blue dot. You probably already know that. Pretty basic there. But we do have some other options for sending text. We can send screen effects, text effects. We can schedule a text to be sent later. We can include photos, as you can see. So let's take a look at a few of these different options. The first thing is how can we dictate to the phone? Well, basically what we can do is we can go down to this little icon here, and when I tap on that, it's going to start listening to me. As you can see, it's listening to me, and it's dictating. If you don't want to do that, I'm going to tap on this to stop it. If you don't want to do that, let's go ahead and delete that. We're just going to delete this all. What you can also do when there isn't any text in that message field, so I don't have any text in here, what we can also do is just long press on that, and then we can start dictating. Let's take a look at photos. Let's first look at how we can send photos, and then we'll look at how we can save photos that are sent to us. To send a photo, what we do is we tap on the plus here. When we tap on that, we get a number of different options, and one of them here is photos. I can also take a photo with the camera. I'm going to tap on photos. That's what I want to do, is send a photo from my Photos app. I tap on it, and then from here, I'm able to select from all of my different photos. Now, if you organize your photos by favorites, you can go down to the bottom here, and then when you tap on those double arrows, what you're able to do is filter this by favorites. That's what I will do. When I take photos, I will favorite those photos, and then I'm able to easily see which ones are my favorites. Once you find your photos, all you have to do is just tap on them. So I'm going to tap on a couple of them here. And when I'm done, I tap on Done here. And now I can type in a message, or what I can do is I can just send these. So let's just go ahead and send those. I tap on it, and now it just sent those photos. You're going to see it puts it into a nice card layout. So what I'm able to do is just swipe through them. These are the ones that I sent. And then I can also do the same thing with photos that are sent to me. So I'm going to swipe down here. These are photos that are or were sent to me. I have 7 photos in there. First thing is what you're able to do is download these to your Photos app. When I tap on that, what it'll do is it'll save it to your Photos app. So I can swipe through here, view them, and then if I want to download all of them, I tap on that. Now, if you want to view them individually, you can do that as well. You can tap on it, and then it'll view them, and then you can just swipe back and forth to go through all 7 of them. Or what you can do is you can go up here to 7 photos, and then what it's going to do is it's going to show them in a grid pattern, and then from here what you're able to do is download them, or even select the ones that you want to download. So I just tap on select, I select the ones I want to download, and then I tap on the little down arrow, and now it just saved those to my Photos app. When it downloads them, it saves them to your Photos app. So that's how we can easily save our photos as well as send them. Now we can also schedule a message. Let's take a look at how we can do that. Maybe it's somebody's birthday and it's going to be in a couple of days. You don't want to miss that. Well, what you can do is you can type in here, happy birthday to the person, or whatever message you want. And then instead of tapping on the blue dot, we don't want to do that. What we want to do is tap on the plus here, and then you're going to see send later. When I tap on that, what I'm able to do is schedule when that message is going to be sent. So that's how you can schedule a message. Now let's take a look at screen effects and different things that we can do to make our messages a little bit more fun. I'm going to tap on the conversation again, and we're looking at this message here. And what I would like to do is I would like to send this with confetti or balloons, a screen effect. Well, in order to do that, what we do is we long press on this blue arrow. We don't tap it because that'll send it. What I want to do is I want to long press on it. So I long press on it, and now you're going to see we can send it with an effect. So from here, what I do is I select what effect. So we have different effects here. And then I can also, these are bubble effects, by the way. My favorite are the screen effects. I'm going to tap on screen here. And then from here, what I'm able to do is swipe back and forth to view all the different screen effects. So I can swipe to the left, spotlight. There's my balloons. I could send it with balloons. I also like confetti. So what I'm able to do is swipe, and then you're going to see confetti. And then if I tap on the blue arrow here, what it'll do is it'll send it with confetti. So just swipe back and forth to view all of the screen effects. Now new with iOS 18, we also have text effects. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap on the X here, and it closes that out. I don't want to send a screen effect. That's what those are called. I want to send a text effect. Well, when we type in text here, you're going to see that we have a new option above our keyboard, this little A here with the horizontal lines. When I tap on that, I have a number of different text effects. And what this will do is this will apply to this text here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap on big and watch what happens to the text there. I tap on big, and we can see that it is getting big. So those are new with iOS 18, text effects. Now if you want to make a FaceTime call, you can do that directly from the Messages app as well. All we need to do, I'm going to get out of here. All we need to do is just go to the little icon here, and when I tap on that, what I'm able to do is initiate a FaceTime audio call or a FaceTime video call. And then, again, new with iOS 18, we can also share our screen and ask to share their screen. So if someone's having a problem with their iPhone, this is typically how I will use it. What I can do is I can share my screen to show them how to do it, or even better, what I can do is I can ask them to share their screen, and then I can see what they're doing. So that's new with iOS 18. And the other person does need to have iOS 18 or later for that to work. Now we can also view all of the details of a conversation, including all of the links included in a conversation, any photos or videos. So instead of scrolling, what you're able to do is view them all in one place. To do that, what we do is we tap on our little icon up here. And when I do, you're going to see I have all of the details for that conversation. So here are all the photos that are included in it. Here are all the links. So you're able to see all of the different links. And then I swipe up, we have all the documents that are included in there. So basically what we're able to do is see all of the details for a specific conversation. Now if you want to search, you can do that as well. What we have to do is we have to go back over to our conversation. So I'm going to tap on this here, and when I do, what I do now is I just swipe down, and then you're going to see search. So that's how we can search our conversations. You first have to go to all of your conversations, and then you swipe down, and then from there you're going to be able to search. Now the last thing I want to show you is how we can edit a text message or a message as well as delete it or unsend it. So I'm going to go to this conversation here. I tap on it, and you're going to see I sent this happy birthday. Now, what I would like to do is I would like to personalize that. So I need to edit it. How can we edit it? Well, basically, all we have to do is just long press on it, and then what you're going to see is edit. I tap on that, and I can go and edit that particular text message and then send it again. And then that edited message will show up on the recipient's phone. You're also going to see when you long press on it here, I can undo a send. That's how we can delete a send. Now, there's a little catch to that. If you send a message to someone that is using an older version of iOS that doesn't support this feature, it will not unsend it. So it doesn't unsend it from all of the different devices. So if you send this to someone that has an older iPhone or an iPhone that is running an older version of iOS or an older version of macOS, iPadOS, it will not unsend it. So don't think that you're deleting the message from every one that you send it to. It all depends on what version of iOS or macOS they have on it. So that is how the messages work, or the basics of how messages works on the iPhone. As you can see, we can do a lot more than just send simple text messages. There are a few settings that I like to make sure we have set up properly. I like to use that filtering, so I'll go in the Settings app and make sure that that is set up properly. And I also like to make sure that it sends all of my text messages to all of my other devices. Once you do that, you just go into the Messages app, and then from there you're going to be able to send photos. You can save photos that people send to you. You can schedule messages. You can even send messages with screen effects. So that's how Messages works on the iPhone. Now, if you found this video helpful, what you may want to do is like it. You can also subscribe to my channel. You can share it with your friends and family. In addition to that, you may want to check out danstutorials.com. In addition to having more videos on there, when you become a member, this is how you can support or help support my efforts. It is a membership-based site. When you become a member, I take out all of the ads of the videos. You have access to an AI assistant modeled after an Apple Genius. And then you also have access to classes and webinars that I hold on a regular basis. And then lastly, you're also helping support a small business. It is just me in a corner office of my house. I'm not part of some large organization. So when you do become a member, you are directly supporting my efforts in creating these videos. Check out danstutorials.com for more information, and thanks for watching.